On pole position was meant to be Robert Rubis, but unfortunately he's had some troubles. We'll tell you about that shortly. Neville Haley is now the front runner. Jamie Cartwright and Tony Cross off the second row.
Starting out of row 3 is Gary Bonwick with Gary Dean alongside him. Row 4, Shane Beekoff and Robert Wright.
Positions 9 through 12, Tony Shanks, Bob Hepburn. 11 and 12 is Dave Cameron and Bill Warner. We're away, we've got a star. The software today, HQ Challenge, and it is Neville Haley, the man who gets away to a beautiful start. There's already a bit of a challenge, second and third. Mark Osler, this is going to be 7 laps of mayhem.
It's going to be terrifying as they come down toward the chicane for the first time. Lock brakes, look at them all squeezing for room, and this one's gone in the escape route. It's half of the course. But look at this massive field, 40 HQs trying to shuffle through this narrow piece of bitumen. But it looks like they're behaving themselves. No, another one heads down the escape road.
There's just not enough road for them all to fit through. 40 HQs just dicing and battling it out. Bob Hepburn was one of the guys who locked it up coming into the Sunbelt chicane. They're starting to spread out up the top end of the field, and I was making mention earlier on that our original pole sitter, Robert Rubis, had some problems. He stalled the car and has been put to the rear of field. So he did get some outside assistance to start that car. Some bad luck for him, Mark.
Big field indeed. Shuffles down toward Bartercard, turn down the back straight for the first of 7 laps. Because of that problem with our pole man Rubis, they've had to pull it down from 8 laps to 7. But less time out there for the boys to make some moves. And look at that massive field, spectacular sight down the beach at Surfers Paradise as the HQs get underway.
Neville Haley is the man who is leading. There he is, out in front. He has got a pretty fast charger in Jamie Cartwright right on him, starting to hassle him in the 77 machine. Some challenges already. There's Bob Hepburn starting to get it a little bit sideways.
Down through the Dime S's, Neville Haley, our race leader, as he leads them down the back straight. Heading towards Foster chicane, that big quick. Oh, there's been a tangle up there at the Dime S's. Cars going every which way, plenty of fender crunching. They've sorted themselves out. It's just so typical of the first lap of an HQ event. Doesn't matter what racetrack you're on or where you are in Australia, they're always spectacular.
Gary Bonwick doing a good job. He's inside the top 5, but it's Neville Haley who leads the way quite convincingly. He's got a couple of car lengths over the second place car of Jamie Cartwright. Then there's the 99 machine doing quite well, Gary Bonwick. Here's the replay, and it is Bradley getting all out of shape and getting a little bit of assistance as the front ends come up. As they went through the Dime S's, some big contact there, the 36 machine.
Aussie Newhouse got caught up in that, but they managed to straighten everything up and get on their way. Meanwhile, here's our race leader, Neville Haley, qualified alongside Rubis on the front row with a 2:34.68, and showing a clean pair of heels to the field as they come down pit straight for the first time.
Of course, on that reduced lappage, 1 lap less due to the problems with our original pole sitter, Robert Rubis. So 6 laps to go from here, and Neville Haley is looking quite comfortable out in front.
He's up ahead of Cross, Bonwick in 3rd, Beekoff in 4th, Wright in 5th, Hepburn in 6th. That's the order, and there's some damage.
Aussie Newhouse's car looking...
Well, he managed to straighten it up when they had that collision at Dime S, but you can see the damage there. Course car rounding him up as he brings it back to the pits. I don't think he'll be continuing. That tyre is going to get cut up pretty badly.
An early out for Aussie Newhouse. Neville Haley and Tony Cross are your front runners. Cross was a little closer to him earlier on, but Neville Haley's doing a terrific job. Bonwick in 3rd, Beekoff 4th, and Wright in 5th position.
Well, there's no doubting the popularity of HQ racing in Australia. So many of them. You never see them in the newspaper or at the wrecking yards anymore. Everyone's bought them up to go motor racing. Very, very cheap formula. Tightly controlled suspension and tyre package. Very tightly controlled engine modifications too. Very cheap way to get involved in motorsport. And the boys certainly go to a lot of effort to make sure the cars look good too.
The sport that originated in Tasmania. Mark, I believe there's something in excess of 500 competitors around the country at the moment.
That wouldn't surprise me. Someone was saying the other day someone's going to have to start producing HQ Holdens again if they want to keep the category going. It has been so popular.
Tony Cross, you're looking at there, coming through the Dime S's. He sits in 2nd position at the moment, ahead of Gary Bonwick, and they're chasing this man out in front, Neville Haley, in the number 98 HQ. He was originally starting from position number 2. Our pole sitter had some problems, so he was the front man and hasn't looked back since, and he's now increased his lead as they go through the Foster chicane.
Said car 51 and car 12 are going to be black flag. Heard that from race controllers probably because a lot of the HQs were in trouble after practice and qualifying for cutting corners, straight lining the corners, because as they slide and roll around, they tend to end up right over the ripple strips. You can see them bouncing over there, and they really have been abusing the liberty. The officials getting very angry with them.
Well, 15 cars, in fact, Mark, were penalised for those infringements during qualifying, so that gives you an indication of just how many were cutting corners and riding the curbs too high. So not this man out in front, Neville Haley. There he is. He's doing a terrific job at the moment. Hasn't been headed, and at the moment it doesn't look like it as he comes out of Honda corner. Just a moment onto the front straight for the second time. He's looking in good shape.
Just to give you an idea, 5 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line this time around. These guys are lapping some 40 seconds slower than the V8 supercars. An idea of just how slow. They're only talking about 140, 150 brake horsepower. It's pretty much a stock standard Holden 6-cylinder engine and the original 3-speed manual transmission. So they're not overawed with power, but it makes it a great category for guys learning to go car racing. There's plenty of P-platers amongst this lot.
Certainly learn your racecraft and how to be competitive.
Old HQ Holdens, the V8 supercar guys were saying how tough this track is on brakes. A lot of high-speed straights with very slow corners at the end of them. Really puts a lot of demands on the brakes. These cars still running drum brakes as they did back in 1971. Boy, they get a serving around here.
Wright is doing well further back in the pack. He's catching up on Gary Bonwick. Here's the battle here. This is for 3rd and 4th. Gary Bonwick in the 99 car. Wright in the 13 car. Bob Wright, that is. We haven't seen too many positional changes. Well, none, in fact, up the top end. But we could see one here.
Breaking up into 2 separate battles. Tony Cross starting to close the gap to Haley. And then here's this great battle, as Lee said. 3rd and 4th, Bonwick and Wright. Bit of a gap further back to Hepburn. He's some 4 seconds down on this pair.
Mark, I was saying earlier on, Bob Hepburn, one of the true stalwarts of HQ racing, and he must race in just about every HQ race around the country.
Well, that's the beauty of this category. I mean, it is cheap. You can virtually, a lot of these cars, road registered, you can actually drive them to and from the circuit. Other guys prefer to bring them in on trailers, the more serious competitors. But if you really want to do it on a shoestring, you can virtually drive from track to track.
Car 25, Dale Yoon, has been given a stop-go penalty as we watch the battle for 3rd and 4th through the Foster chicane. Whoa, that's our race leader. He's gone. Our race leader has spun, hit the wall. That is Neville Haley. His race is over. Our race leader. There was no pressure upon him, and he came out of the Foster chicane and just totally lost it.
Just shows you what a fine line these guys are riding, though. And that Foster chicane's a pretty demanding bit of racetrack. Anyone here will tell you that. And he just pushed it over the limit, lost it, coming right toward our camera. Let's look at this on the replay. As they come through Foster chicane, bounce, bounce, bounce over all the curves. And here comes Haley. He's in trouble here. Big brake lock-up, bang off the fence. He's done a lot of damage, spinning his way down the straight.
Tony Cross was close, Mark, but I didn't realise he was that close, that there was that much pressure.
So as they come around this time, Cross now will take top position. 4 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line. Bonwick in 2nd, Wright in 3rd. That's the order, the top 3.
Out in front, our race leader is Tony Cross. Has done a terrific job. He had the lead handed over to him. Whoa. He gets a little sideways through the Dimesses.
Look at that standard rear axle hopping around under full load. They really are working these cars. When these things rolled out of Fisherman's Bend back in the early 70s, they were not intended for this sort of use. And I must say, even after 20 odd years, they're still a very good, very handsome looking car.
They do a terrific job. They're so hardy, so durable. We'll just see how durable they are over the last couple of laps. They come through the Dimesses yet again. It's been a tremendous battle for 2nd and 3rd. Gary Bonwick is now starting to lose a little ground over Bob Wright.
Down through the Foster chicane, braking hard for Conrad Jupiter's turn. With the tyres squealing, absolutely torturing these cars. And there'll be plenty of sweat and toil going on in the cockpit here too. So swinging it back through the S's up toward Honda hairpin. And if Bonwick's going to make a move, you'd have to be setting it up now. You've got to plan so far ahead in these cars. You're thinking about a lap ahead where you're going to try and get your move.
Well, you saw how hard that our 2nd place driver Bob Wright was going, Mark, when he came down into the Sunbelt chicane for the first time, and he sort of did a little bit of grass tracking there momentarily. He has pulled away now from Gary Bonwick That is a beautiful shot. That shows the point he's probably got half a dozen car lengths now over Bonwick, so no pressure for that second spot anymore.
No, well, Cross has opened it up 3.5. He's just opened a couple more tenths of a second in that lead, so he's home safely if he just drives a nice controlled final lap. But Bonwick is not giving up, giving it everything as they come through Sunbelt chicane up toward MCI and hammer down the back straight once again now. Hepburn, Bobby Hepburn, we saw him almost lose it through the Dime S's a few laps ago, but he's managed to gather it up and he's really attacking the back of car 52.
Tony Shanks it is. Bobby Hepburn, the battle for 4th and 5th. Shanks in the blue car, Hepburn. Well, I don't have to tell you which one he is.
He's close enough. You couldn't get a cigarette paper between those two bumper bars. Look how close he is as they come around. This long right-hand sweeper. Big go up the inside as they brake hard for time turn. Bobby Hepburn got it all crossed up. Nice, clean move, though. Now let's see if he can hold that position as they head down toward Bartercar turn for a quick run on the back straight for the final time.
Well done, Bob Hepburn. Up the inside of Tony Shanks, moves now into 4th position. We're watching 3rd position. That was Gary Bonwick. Here's our race leader, though. Tony Cross. Then there's Bob Wright, Gary Bonwick. They're your top 3 as they come into the top turn. Conrad Jupiters. Here is the battle for 4th and 5th. Bob Hepburn.
Hepburn now. Great battle this. It's been going on since the start. He's got in front of Shanks, so Hepburn moves up to 4th. Shanks in 5th. Cameron, Warner, Chesham, Cowman, Anderson. That's the top 10. Final lap.
Well, Bob Hepburn was turning it on right from the start, Mark. If you remember, coming down into the Sunbelt chicane, he locked it up on the opening lap and was ready to battle.
He's our race leader. Managed to get a nice, clean run up the front here after Haley's demise early in the race. Picked up 1st position. He's defended it very effectively. Strung together a series of clean, fast laps. Stayed out of trouble, and he looks like he's heading toward the checkered flag.
Hasn't necessarily been a race of fantastic moves. It's more of been good luck for Tony Cross, of course, our original pole sitter.
I think they were just scared of the Concord walls, Lee.
Yeah. There hasn't been as much carnage as what I originally thought there would be. Robert Rubis had some problems. He was put to the back of the grid. Neville Haley then spun out. And here is the man who is going to take out the software today. HQ Challenge, Tony Cross in the number 1 car, the number 1 position. Well done to him. He has survived the best and come across the line in the number 1 position. 2nd and 3rd, the positions wouldn't have changed there. It will be Bob Wright coming for 2nd ahead of Gary Bonwick. This is the battle for 4th and 5th, and Bob Hepburn will get there in for 4th ahead of Tony Shanks in 5th position.